Hey, how are you? And welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Finances. Once again, my name is Victoria J. And if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back and allowing me to indulge with you on finances and the financial aspects of life. If it's your first time watching my video, welcome. I appreciate you, and I hope and I pray that you find something here that you can take with you back into your everyday life. But I am going to have to ask you to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so you never miss out on the little points and little key points that I take so much time to put together for you. And I know there are a lot of other videos you would prefer to watch on YouTube, like makeup tutorials and get ready with me videos and all the good stuff YouTube has to offer. But at some time we have to put that to the side and do this thing called adulting and do this thing called growing up. And part of the growing up thing is our financials. So thank you. Welcome back. So today's video is actually built on a question that someone asked me. Yes. Yes. So she asked me, Victoria, I feel like whenever I get paid, I don't know what to do with my money. Who should I be paying first? How should I be paying things? How come I can't have enough for savings and things like that? So that's where I broke it down to her, what the steps that I have used when I was educating myself on how to control my finances. And I said, you know what, for anyone else out there who might have that same dilemma, let me just make a video. That way it's here and you have it for your references. So let's get started without further ado. So I have my handy dandy, my little homegirl here, and she has all my stuff in there. So we're gonna, start talking. Okay, so the first place your money should be going is what's called your 401k. Now, if you do not have a 401k, it is never too late to start. When I started my 401k so late in life, you wouldn't believe me. In my mid-20s, I'm tapping into 401k. And it's only because I was so ignorant in what 401k was and what 401k could be doing for me in the future. I felt, and I started working since I was 16 years old. But I kind of felt like 401k was just another bill. I felt like it was just something else taking money from my check. Aside from Medicare and taxes and everything else, I was like, I didn't know it was for me. It was for my future. I just thought I was paying someone else, and I didn't really take the time to educate myself on 401k. So we know with everything in life there's risk. So please take the time to read up about 401k and find out exactly what, how it really works, especially during the pandemic where a lot of people had to tap into their 401k. But imagine if they didn't have it, So do your research about 401k, see if it's something that best fits your life. But in my perspective, that's the first place your money should be going to, is your 401k before you even get your check, okay? So the second place you want to take your money to is your checking account. You want to have a checking account. No matter who you are or where you are in life, you need a checking account. I know quite a few people at my place of employment who come to the job, every other Friday to pick up the paper check. Now, for whatever reason, they don't have a checking account. I never asked, but I can't even imagine having to go down that road, only because first, it's time consuming to have to come to even if you're off that day, you got to come by and get your check. And I've had situations where I heard them say the check weren't delivered or they'll be back after 3. It was always something, and I hated the way they felt when they had to leave and come back for their check, especially if they had plans that day. So you want to make sure you have direct deposit. I know a lot of people have been in the check system before, so they feel like there's not much they can do. It's not true. Many banks offer checking accounts to people who have been in check systems before. Wells Fargo has what's called opportunity checking. Bank of America has their second chance checking account. So you want to look into that and get yourself a checking account. because you need it. You need your funds to go there because it's going to be easier for you to allocate it when it's time to pay your bills. Also, it saves you from having to take a trip to the employer or whatever, or wait for it to come in the mail. Or the biggest part I hate, check cashing stores. I remember one time, what happened? I think I had first started with this employer, and you gotta wait for the direct deposit to kick in. So the first check, they gave it to me paper check. And when I went to my bank, I think my bank was telling me like 3 to 5 days for the funds to be available or something like that, where it was I did not want to wait. So I went to a check cashing store, and I think they took like $30 in the fee to cash that check. And I remember being so pissed. like, what? I gotta give you $30 out of my money? Like, what? Like, I remember being so upset at that time, and I remember saying, you know what, no, I ain't doing that. It ain't happening no more, okay? I am not giving out my money freely like that to something that's not, you charging me to cash my money. Like, you charging me to give me my money. I'm not gonna, I'm just not with it. So I want to tell you, in my journey and in my research and everything I've learned, it's best to have a checking account where your funds are going into, okay? After that, the third step is you pay your future self first. Now, a lot of people are going to disagree with what I am about to say. But if you pause this video right now and you research, you take some time and you research how successful people handle their money, or you take some time to research, how people with money or no money or are educated about money handle their finances, they all will tell you, you gotta pay yourself first. Now, the self that we're talking about is not the self that's living here today. I'm not saying take this money and go get you a bag or go get you a pair of shoes. No. The self that we're talking about is your future self in a form of your emergency fund. You wanna put, even if it's just $10, you wanna put something into your emergency fund first before you start paying bills, before you start giving money away or doing whatever you gotta do. You wanna take care of that first. And you will you will adore that person that you were when a situation occurs. And I'm going to give you an example. I got into a car accident a little while ago. And when I contacted my insurance company to let them know that I got into a car accident and I was going to need a rental to get around until they figure out what they were going to do with my car, whether they were going to fix it or deem it total loss. So, if anyone's ever been to a car accident, it is a very stressful time because, especially if you're not at fault, especially if you're not at fault and then you got to go through this person's insurance and you got to do all this stuff, and it's not easy. But long story short, my insurance company, Mines, told me, yes, you have rental coverage. We're going to cover the rental, but you have to go get the car. You got to pay for it first. Keep the receipt, send it to us, and then we'll send you a check when, it's all said and done. And I remember, just in a sense of pride, like not pride, but proud of who I had become, because I had the money. For 3 weeks, that rental came out to $750 rounded. And I had it to put on there. And the feeling of being so proud of myself that 6 months ago, that person I was thought about my future self. That 1 year ago, 3 months ago, however much time I started saving this money, thought about that day. Because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. Anything can happen. Anything. Oh my God, when I say anything can happen. And you have to have some kind of cushion or something where you can lay back on, because had I not had that, many things would have happened. I could have had to call someone to borrow those funds, and in the time that we live in, it's really hard to find someone to not rent you to loan you $750 off the bat. Or I would have to wait till payday, and I'm pretty sure payday funds were, I wasn't expecting to get into car accidents, so I'm pretty sure the money from payday had other things that had to take care of. I'm pretty certain of it. Or I would have to just bust my butt on the bus, or maybe Ubers. It would be a hassle. So I was so happy to say, go ahead, here, charge it, or let me transfer the funds from my savings to my checking so I can. And I was so happy I was able to do that because I thought about myself. So when I got paid this week and I went ahead and transferred $50 to my emergency savings, when it's time and when I have an emergency and I have to dig into that money, that Victoria that day is going to be so proud of the Victoria this week who did that, who took care of that Victoria. And that's what you want to do. You want to take care of you. That's self-care. That's self-care in its finest. You want to take care of your future self because you don't know what can go wrong. And believe me, if something can go wrong, it will go wrong. It will. Okay? So you want to do that. So after you're done with your emergency fund, whether you send however much, $25, $50, however much you want to send, because you're not going to touch it unless you have an emergency. Now it's time for your necessities, which is the bills. Okay, so this part is just the basic necessities. It's just your rent, your utility, your card payment, your insurance, your basic necessities, your grocery shopping. This time it's not for your Netflix. It's not for your Hulu. It's not for your gym membership. You don't pay those yet, okay? The wants don't get touched yet. And it's just the things you can't live without. Your cell phone bill, the adulting stuff in your life, the one that if you don't pay this, you might mess up everything else. You might have to end up back at somebody else's house, kind of thing. Those things you want to make sure you tap into right now. Their necessities, they get paid next after you put the small portion into your emergency fund, okay? So that's number 4. So number 1 was your 401k if you decide to tap into it. 2 is your checking account. 3 is your emergency fund. You're paying yourself aspect. 4 is the necessities that's very important in life, okay? 6, you want 6, 4. Oh, so 5. Now we're going to talk about savings. Your savings and your emergency fund are 2 different things, 2 different people, 2 different things, okay? Don't mix them up. Your emergency fund is what it's called. It's just for an emergency. Your savings is it's your goal. You understand? It's something you're working towards. Let me see, do I have it with me now? If I don't, I will make sure I make a video about it. Just savings are very easy to acquire if you make goals. There are so much saving goal challenges and saving goal projects and saving goal worksheets, and there's so much out there. Like there's saving goal bingo. There's so many of them out there, and challenges and all kinds of stuff out there. You want to get one, and you want to, whether it's the $5 savings challenge, or there's one where the first week is like $21, the second week is like $42, the third week is, no matter which one you tap into, they've had all kinds, but you want to get you a saving goal because it makes saving a lot easier. And you want to do that. You want to really fixate yourself on one and do a challenge at a time. You don't got to do the same one every single time because they tend to get boring after a while. I've done so many different saving goal challenges, and you can do the 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, whichever one. Anyway, I'll talk about that later today, but you want to make sure that the number 5 step is putting money into your personal savings account. I want to emphasize something. You see number 3, your emergency funds. You want to make sure, you want to make sure that account that you're putting your emergency fund in is accessible account. you want to make sure it's an account that you can get money quickly out of. So whether it's a separate checking account or whether it's a separate savings, I would suggest separate savings only because saving accounts can tend to have fees if you don't have direct deposit going directly into them. But a separate savings account, that's just for that. You know, you could change the name and call it emergency fund or something like that. But something separate, but it's easy to get the money, a quick little mobile app, finger rotation, and the money's transferred over. You don't want the kind of account that's going to take 3 or 4 days to get the money over, which is the one you do want for your savings account. Your saving account, you want a Capital One account 360. That one takes 3 or 4 days to get the money out of if you need it, because they have to wire it over to whatever account you have linked to it. But guess what? You're not going to touch that money off. It becomes a point of having a savings. American Express Online has one. A lot of different companies have those kind of savings accounts. But you don't want to make that your emergency savings, because you don't want to be stuck where you can't get this money out when you need it now kind of thing. So keep that in mind. So yes, number 5 is your savings account. Number 6, you want to go start putting money into a credit repair, some kind of credit repair program or paying off debt kind of system. A lot of credit repair programs charge monthly. I used to use Lexington Law. And during my first couple of months with them, I felt like they were amazing. I started seeing things coming off my credit. I started getting notices in the mail about companies that said they got the dispute, they're taking care of it now, or what they need from me or whatever like that. So I started seeing the work or the process, but they, in my opinion, take too long. Okay? They take way too long. And I don't know if it's because they're getting paid monthly. So, you know, who in the world is getting paid monthly is going to rush it, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Because once they get you there, then I guess you no longer need them kind of thing. So I guess that's why it takes forever. I mean, it took forever to get me to where, they never got me to where I wanted to be. They just took forever. And that's just my opinion. And some people might have great results. I didn't care for the way they took so long. So I invested into a smaller company, and what I liked about this guy who was helping me was he had one flat fee and he had a time spans. You know, so he pulled your report, he looked at how much work he had to do, then he would be like, okay, it's going to cost you $2.99, but I'll get you to where you want to be in 4 months. That made better sense to me. That actually set better with me. I don't know if I make more sense. I kind of felt like, okay, 4 months, I'm paying my money, I'm getting my results in 4 months, I'm done. You know, and that's how he operated. He didn't do that. Oh my God, he did not linger me on. So anyway, long story short, number 6, you want to find a good, solid credit repair kind of method, and you want to start fixing your credit if you need to. Everyone who I've ever spoken to about credit always say, you know, there is no perfect credit. If you can get 5 more points, why not get 5 more points? It only looks better. If you can get 10 more points, or anything you can do to increase that score, do it. There is no perfect credit. There is no I'm there when it comes to credit. There's always more that you can do towards your credit. So you wanna look into that. You know, so if you're in the 500s, you know that's nowhere to be. You want to get to the 600s. And if you're at 650, dang, why don't you get to 680? And when you get to 680, you know 700's right there, right? And once you get to 700, 720, from 750, you know, 800, you know, you want to keep rising when it comes to your credit. So that's very important that you are in some kind of credit repair system. And then number 7, which is the last one. Now, your wants. These are things that you want, you know. You want that figure. Now you pay your gym membership. Okay, now you buy, if you needed a bag, or if you need some shoes, or if you want to go, you understand, if it's not your month of saving, you know, for a bigger expense like a vacation or something like that, then you want to do something for yourself or whatever you want to do. Now is the time to get some self-care in your life, get some self-love. Don't not do those things. You want to do those things, but now is the time, because I'm going to tell you something. When you get to number 7, you feel relieved. And this is not just for one check. You can do this in a month, or you can do it bi-weekly. It's up to you. However, it's easier for you to pay your bills, how you allocate, these 7 steps. But by the time you get to number 7, oh my God, you feel like, you don't feel like, you miss something. You don't feel like you owe somebody. You feel like you're relieved, and then you feel guilt-free when you do certain things, when you get yourself something you need, or something you want. When you do get something you want, you feel like, can't nobody tell me nothing, because I did my adult thing. I took care of everything I had to take care of. Don't tell me anything right now. Okay? So, long story short, those are, in my opinion, from my experience and from my research and from my studies and from everything I've ever been through on God's green earth, those are the 7 steps that is best to break down your checks, to make sure you cover everything, and to make sure your life is as simple and as peaceful and as financially stable as possible. I know finances, and I always say it's something that's nobody wants to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about their finances. They rather hide it, put it under the rug, or just keep it out there. But it's when something happens is when people know that you don't have your finances in order. Okay? Don't wait till something happens. Don't be that girl who got to call someone like, hey, I have an emergency, can I borrow $100? And the thought process of that person is, as good as you be walking around here, you just posted a new bag the other day. You just, because that's how people think. You over here driving in a BMW, you over here, home decor, you got you new this and new that, and you that's how people think. And now you asking me to borrow money, say you don't want to be that person. I thank God, I don't owe no man, and I ain't got to ask nobody for nothing. And I thank God for letting me be that person who 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, started preparing for today. That's what you want to do. So that's what I have for you today. I pray and I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already done it, the like button, the subscribe button, I appreciate all the support that you guys give me and helping you, helping myself, helping everyone get their finances in order. Any questions, anything, comment box below. I am here for you, and I pray that you have a blessed day. So until we talk again, until we meet again, thank you so much, and have a great